Since Destinyfest, I've been doing a lot of, I don't want to call it energy work, but I've been dropping a lot into the body, playing with the field, communicating with the field,
Yeah.
and uh, becoming more and more sensitive to it.
Yeah.
So last Friday was my first. So I went on a float before met you,
Yeah.
and then last Friday, I went to a dance event and took 2 grams worth of psilocybin chocolate to standard practice. When I go out, activates me, reduces separation, and we get to go and have a blast.
Okay.
But this time, something different happened where I was sitting there waiting for the opening acts to finish,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden, my right arm just started like like uh like a dead fish. It was just sitting there spasming. I
Yeah.
could feel like surges of energy shoot from my shoulder down my hand, and my hands just, for lack of better description, I was thinking, it was a controlled seizure, right?
Okay.
So I'm sitting there, wanting to send this energy out. So then I relaxed, and then I felt the upper shoulders, the traps just started pulsing. So they
Yeah.
wanted to release. Then my right arm, then my left arm. So my
hmm
whole body. Luckily, there's music there. I was just letting
Yeah,
go, and I
that's
was going
true.
like this.
That is like, yeah, helps.
So no one would know the difference, but I could feel that there was just this built up electric charge within the body
Yeah.
that wanted to release now that the body, well, Winston's relaxed.
Yeah.
Um, and then the more I surrendered, like let go, like of holding on to it, the body was just shaking and pulsating.
Mm.
And this went on for about 15 minutes. And then I decided, I'm going to go to the washroom and lock myself into a stall and really let go.
I've
So,
done that. I've done that myself.
so when I went in there, then I could feel the neck muscles wanted to release. So it
Yeah.
was whipping around. Uh, and I'm in the stall, and it's my just the arms are flopping around, head was flopping around. And then this idea of that came in was to let go of all this stored energy, but it's energy I've held on, or this body Winston has held on for forever. So it was just this massive amount of stored energy within the body, and I go, okay, we're just gonna relax and just let it go, and I could just feel it's like a current of energy just go down, then out my fingertips, and another one. I'm like, how much energy is stored in this in you? And it just kept happening and happening, and eventually it got to a point where I became so still and aware that I would focus on my fingertips, and then it would just scan down the body, scan down my hand, and I go, just let go and relax. And then the hand would just relax, and then my palm would relax, and then my wrist would relax. And then it felt like it disappeared.
Mm.
Like when all the nerves just completely just let go of any pent up charge inside of it, any stored, you know, sig any stored energy, it would just let go, so it wasn't tense. My arm would like disappeared. I'm going. Then I looked at this hand, and it would do exactly the same thing. So when using awareness, I was able to just completely relax, and then I'm sitting there floating. Like I can feel it again right now. He's letting me feel it. I was sitting there, just floating through space, and it was this idea of it's time to let go of all this old energy. You don't need to hold on to it anymore. And I saw glimpses of regret and, you know, being wronged and shamed and criticized, and all that tenseness, like when we're judged and criticized and ridiculed or whatever. And then you just kind of like suck it in. And
Mm.
when we were younger, no one told us how to release this energy. So we
Right.
absorb it, and kept absorbing it. And then what I started to understand was the body just kept like a sponge, kept absorbing it, but it never ever had an opportunity to release it. And I kept releasing it. At one point, I went up and I went like this, and I looked up, and I could almost I could feel and I could almost see the energy kind of like float upwards, like I was like giving it to the sky.
Mm.
Um, and then I heard a banging on the stall door, and there's like, security. Are you okay? I actually had lost total concept of time in this, and I opened up the door and I kind of made myself look like I was sick, and I go, yeah, I'm good. I'll be right back up, and I continued it, and it was just this absolute freeing. Like I had so much tension in my back, and I didn't know how to get rid of it, and I could just feel this energy flow, like just strip away from the muscles, and then release up. Um, I eventually left, went back into the main room, and then the headliner that I wanted to see was on. I looked down, and it's 1:30 in the morning. The event ends at 2 in the morning. I walked in there just before midnight. So I was in the washroom stall for 90 minutes, and it didn't feel like 90 minutes. So I left early, and we went for a walk, and I just told Winston, okay, just keep letting go. And I'm walking down the street looking like I'm, a bit of a freak because my head's whipping around, my arms are
Yeah.
flailing. There's just so much energy still to be released. I
Yeah.
walked around the block like 8 times, found a park, and then found a spot, and then just okay, head. So the head was whipping around.
Hmm.
I could feel the tension leave, and it was up, down, left, right. It was violent. If I didn't hold back, I probably would have
If you
passed out.
resist. If you resist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was just whipping around, and eventually it slowed down. So it's still moving, but it was not nearly as violent. So we were outside for another hour or so, and then I went home. Um, and then then when I'm sitting there laying there, I would tell the body to relax, and it would fire.
Hmm.
Didn't get much sleep. The next day, I decided, okay, I'm gonna sleep in the afternoon, and then tonight, because it's nice and warm and it's safe in the house, um, I'll take another dose, and we continue releasing because I could feel how good it felt, like how freeing and how light the body became.
Hmm.
I want to get rid of more of it. So around 9 o'clock, we took another 2 gram dose, and the start of it didn't wasn't great because maybe it's because of the energy in this house. I became very, very sad. Um, the human side felt very, very sad because it was looking around and it's like I don't didn't want to
Mm.
be here, and then reflecting on all the choices that we
Yeah,
made.
but that's the actual work. That's the real work. The real work is not feeling perfect. The real work is being with the parts of you that are sad with kindness and with empathy, you know?
So we sat through
Yeah.
it, cried through it, sat with my dog, and just surrendered to whatever the emotions were coming up, and no judgment, no shame in it. Just let it just feel through it. And eventually we drifted to the space where the body was relaxing again and started to
Hmm.
like pulse and spasm. So we went to the living room, and now I could surrender. And
Yeah.
it was just, it was violent. It was flailing. The head was moving around. And like, if I didn't know any better, I was thinking at one point, is this what I went through when I was tumbling down the hill?
Oh, right.
Like it was
Processing.
just
Yeah, right.
all over the place. My head's whipping around
Being.
back and forth.
Now, remember, I am gonna counsel you on something that It's very important when you do this kind of work to always tell your higher self that you want it to be gentle. It doesn't have to be violent. And we do have a choice around, I discovered, because I told you I went through years of that jerking, and some of it was very violent. And I went through years of brutal Kundalini experiences before I realized, oh, I can just say I want this to be gentle. And then it was totally different. It
Well,
was much, much nicer after that.
well, we're gonna get
I'm
to
just going forward because you're in charge, right? You're in charge of your journey, and
that.
the energy is going to want to be processed, but it's only coming through you because of your intention, because your intention is to free yourself. Your intention, that was mine. My intention was free myself as quickly as possible. But then the energy says, no problem, here, and then starts processing hundreds of lifetimes in one lifetime. Well, guess what? That can be really, really fucking bad idea. Like that can be really intense. So like people end up in a mental institution trying to do that. So that's why I'm counseling you. Just remember to always invite a container, picture a container of safety and gentleness and calm for Winston, the human, when you're going through and you're inviting in these healing processes, because that's what you're doing. You are inviting in, you are choosing to pursue them by taking the mushrooms and staying home with that intention, right? So you're creating it, but you want to also add to that a container of real love for Winston, where it's gentle, where it's safe, where it feels good, you know?
What's when you I understand what you're saying. It just felt like it was going, the energy wasn't coming. It was rad it was radiating out. And what
Yeah.
and I was, even though I surrendered, it's more like I sat back and then I could feel Winston, like the human body, just kind of like a puppet. It was there, and the legs were in place, like
Yeah.
locked in place, and we were stable. But the upper body was just, the
Yeah.
energy was just being released, and it wasn't a full blast, but it was very, the channel was very open to
Yeah,
that.
and all I'm saying, if you were fine with it, no problem. But if it reaches a point where it's not fine, you need to get in charge and
Yeah,
bring back your agency because you are in charge. This is what I'm
right.
telling you. You
So
are-
yeah, I was allowing the energy to just free flow, exit however it wants. So when it got back to the neck, I could feel the muscle groups. So this side would want to release, and then this side would pull, and it was up and down and left and right. And I was very aware of where these channels of energy, like from the body and releasing. It was just random. Felt great.
Yeah. Well,
Other
that's all
than
that matters. I mean, as long as it was feeling good for you.
and
I was just putting it out there because you said it was very violent, and I don't believe that that's healthy. I've seen people have very big problems when they allow that sort of process to take over without guardrails
Mhm.
that
Yeah.
they've created,
So
or a teacher to help you, which is
I
usually
understood.
right.
So this went on for, I'm going to say, about an hour. It went on for a long time, and all of a sudden, this randomness stopped being random, and it was like this, and all of a sudden, I could feel it become systematic is the best
Mm,
way I could describe it. And I wasn't sure if Winston was doing it or, but I was just aware that it went from just flailing around to, I describe it as, imagine if an RMT came in and then started massaging this part of my neck and the shoulder and the spine and
mm,
the arm, and then this arm would go in and the shoulder would unlock, and then I went from randomness to being manipulated.
mm. Okay.
And then the manipulation became more and more precise. I could feel the muscle groups in the back will click, 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 and then it would move, and then it would go up the spine, and then the neck would be click, 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 click,
Yeah.
click, and then an adjustment. And then I got a very brief glimpse of a vision, as if, and this is probably from watching too many movies, of if this was it's a, I call it a biosuit. This
Yeah,
suit was being adjusted by a mechanic.
right.
Like it's like that's
No, I'm sure that's what
manipulating.
was happening, but that mechanic is a higher part of you, or it could be more extensive than that. It could be a
Yeah.
higher part of you and a team of people helping you. But it starts with a higher part of you. That's always the part that's in charge and should that's I always want to counsel you, make sure that higher part of you is in charge and that you put that forward that your higher part's in charge. Always say that. But it sounds like it was, and it sounds like that you're just being helped to step into what you came here to do, which we already talked about.
So okay, thank you for that. So so as the manipulation became more and more deep, like I could feel the external cords of the neck be released, and then the internal cords of the neck being released, and then the
Mm.
internal, like the parts that when I have massage, I've never felt anyone ever get there.
All right.
And then the parts underneath the scalp, and it was just being manipulated, and all the tension being.
Energetically, because it's an energetic manipulation. It's not a physical only manipulate, it's an energetic manipulation, which you need to understand because that's what you'll be doing.
Yeah, well, the part that I didn't understand was when I became aware that my our head was being lifted,
Yeah.
and I surrendered, and Winston surrendered, and all of a sudden, I could feel it like stretch, 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 and then that goes click, and then it would go like this, and then it would
Yeah.
go up again, and at one point it was pulling, and I could feel the arms just
Yeah.
dragging,
Yeah.
and it would go click, and this happened 6 or 7 times, and then I
Yeah.
could feel systematically it would go up the neck, click, 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 up to my head, down the side, front and back, manipulate, manipulate, and the part that I want to share with you is I could feel a touch like this
Yeah.
around, and then it's dragged these fingers,
Hmm.
and then it went back, dragged its fingers, moved it around, dragged its fingers, and then I dipped my head down, and I felt my head be touched, brought up. It's as if it was, I was looking at an 8-year-old child, and I grab that child's face, and I go like this, and I brushed it up, and I could feel the presence. I had my eyes closed. I could
Hmm.
feel this presence look at me, and I could see something in my eyelids,
Yeah.
but something deep inside. There was this recognition, and I just started bawling my eyes out.
Wow.
And it was this, it was tears of longing. That's the only way I could describe it. It was like I could reach out, and it was just like this scream that, and Winston would reach out and like go like this and want to touch
Yeah.
this entity.
Yes.
Um, and eventually we got our shit back together after crying so much. And then a conversation happened that I'm not aware of because it was silent.
Hmm.
But Winston's going to show you
Okay.
exactly the movements he did. He went, it's like he bowed into the presence of this entity,
Yeah.
um, blessed. And when that was done, all I could think about was I was just touched by God. And
Yes.
Winston went up and went You just
Yeah.
acknowledged something that I can't fathom, but it was so
Well, part of God. Yeah. I mean,
a part of, but
because it's pure love. There's only pure you are because you are God, Winston. You are God, and so am I, and we all are. Everything is the one thing being expressed in different ways. So that's why I'm correcting that. But
yeah,
it, but we can experience that force as a friend, as a father, or as a helper, as a force that is coming to remind us of who we are and what we're here to do, and that's what's happening, right? And so it's through that you're able to remember who you are, who you really are, not
yeah.
who you think you are,
Well, that's
right?
that's what happened after we went and we saw our reflection in the window, and Winston kind of went out and touched it, and then there's a picture of Gunyan, Goddess of Mercy, in the window, and he would point at it,
Yes.
pointing at it, and then I just surrendered, and he would bow to it, touch it, point at it, bow to it, pray to it, and then it pointed back at the reflection, and he goes,
Right. Yes, correct. That's what that's what I saw already.
yeah,
So,
and this is
yeah.
something that he said, and I remember sharing something like that with you, um, where I was reminded that I'm the divinity within the human,
Yes.
and
Well, the
people,
human is within the divinity, actually. It's inside because the human is also divine.
yeah,
It's
and
not separate. That's all.
and then he would write, um, "I remember you," and the part that after that evening when he and I debriefed, we'll call it that. I go, "How you doing, buddy?" And he wrote, "I'm immensely, immensely happy. I'm
Mm,
immensely, immensely happy." And I sat there, I could feel it.
that's nice.
Um, yeah, so that happened.
Well, that's cool. So,
Yeah, it's like I go, if anyone might understand what happened, because I know I've been interacting with the divine because I've had experiences where I've been manipulated in the past in the tank. This was the first time of such a manipulation, and the only way I could kind of like describe it to myself that made sense was I was it's like it's like a child trying to figure out how to let go of this energy,
yeah,
and then an older, more wise part is like, here, son, let me help you a little
that's
bit,
right. That's
and
right.
this is
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
You get to go now. So it wasn't it
Yeah.
was more of a teaching,
Yeah.
but it was from the intention, as you put it. My intention was this. I'm
Yeah.
going to try it on my own. And then the older version goes, well, that's not the best way to go do it here.
Yeah.
Let's show you a different way of doing it. Like, so that's the vision that I received. And, as a using that metaphor, like the child, like this younger, more I don't know, childlike version of me that's still remembering what it can do is still processing that.
Yeah, our human is never going to fully, like my human having a meltdown about being an angel, your human is never going to be like, yeah, no problem. That's not going to happen. Uh, because by the nature of what a human is, which we won't get into. I mean, it's too complex, but I mean, so it's understanding that our human never needs to understand, but we have to help our human feel safe with it, right? It's like for me with the angel message, right? Which is still my human is still like, fuck, what the fuck, right? But like that caretaker part, which is a proxy for the higher self. I figure you know that the caretaker is a proxy for the higher self because you can't be the higher self in this lifetime because you're in the body, or at least not when you're not on drugs or when you're not like in some other state. So like the caretaker is a chosen tool that's like a proxy for the higher self. So that's why it's pure love. So like for me as the caretaker, I know, oh yeah, no, it's okay. Don't worry. You know, yeah, no, you don't have to tell people, you don't have to worry. That's just for you. That's just for you so that you understand why you have all these abilities, why you always want to help people, why you feel sad for the world, why. This is why you're so sensitive. This is why everything's so hard. So it's okay. You don't need to feel bad, right? But you don't need to figure it out. You don't need to do something with it. Because then she's like, what do I need to tell people? No, you don't. That's the thing. You don't. No one needs to know. It's not to say you can't, but it's just, it's not really necessary, you know? It's not necessary. And if it is necessary, you'll know. Like if there's some reason you need to, because sometimes you do need to tell people for part of being able to help others, you know, like someone like Abraham Hicks or whatever, who's going to travel the world like channeling or, you know, like that type of thing, or like Seth Speaks, like there's all these channels, right? Um, they need to tell people because they're going to sit in front of them and channels and like people have to believe it, right? But depending on what you're doing, you can say as much or as little as you want, you know, and you can feel that out as you go. What matters in the end with you, I think, will just be the practical application because in the end, what speaks the most for all of us, in my opinion, is the healing. So like for me, I have lots of people that I've helped to heal who really don't understand how I help them heal, and they don't even make the connection that I help them heal. But their life was completely different after our time together,
Mhm.
and they never had the same problems ever again, including things like injuries and things like this. Like, you know, like things like, I don't know if I told you because like it was a story. It's one of those things where there was this guy who like had a problem, he had like a very serious problem with his knee all his life. He was on a cane. And and after in our final session, he became free of that. And he knew it was from our work. But then a year later, we reconnected and he was telling me about all these things he did that were amazing. And I was like, oh, wow, you must feel really like grateful that you're not like how amazing you're now able to do all those things. He's like, oh, yeah, I used to, he forgot that he used to have a cane. Like he actually, it's not that he didn't even attribute it to me. He forgot that he couldn't walk because his identity had so taken into this new thing that's totally healthy, which is great. But, you know, so in that sense, what speaks is the healing. What speaks is the result that we have for people, you know, the effect in the end, like the amount of, for me, it's the amount of alignment. Like for me, it's the amount of alignment I give them with their spiritual path. Like you, even with you, I don't meet anyone in my life where there isn't an element of I'm helping them align with themselves and they're helping me align too. Like there's pretty much no one in my life who is not that in some capacity. Um, but at the same time, it's, you know, for you, I think it's that it's more the physical alignment that brings in the higher alignment. They go together, right? Because there's a lot of people who they have aspects of that physically. That's what you experience, these blocks and these things. And I did too. I told you that when I went through my Kundalini awakening, I went through 2 years of nonstop jerking in public, and I couldn't even go in the subway because my arm would just jerk out, my knee would jerk out. It was terrifying. I mean, I hated it. I thought I was crazy. But that's what it was. Energy moving through, trying to heal like different things, right? So yeah, so I people need help with both of those things, with the inside alignment and with the physical energetic alignment.
Well, you use the word Kundalini and the energy and the part that I took a picture of the show. I was gonna, you know, the first person that came to mind I was gonna share it with. The show is on Amazon Prime and it's called Inner World, Outer World.
Hmm.
And I was guided to click on it, and it's a documentary. And I'm sitting there looking at it, at scenes, I'm like, what the fuck? Like that's the circle, that's the dot. like,
Right,
like
right.
this
Showing you.
this whole 2 hour thing, it was almost like me trying to figure something out, and then here's the instruction video, right?
Well, it's beautiful to know that is how life works. And so it's not weird. And so I guess for me, what I would put forward is to continue to normalize that for yourself.
Well,
That that's
I don't
actually
want to say it's
how,
weird.
you know,
It's one of those things like I never would have expected anything on an Amazon, like a streaming on Amazon to be this specific. And then when it talked about the energy when it comes out and it goes like this, like
yeah.
that's what happened like 72 hours ago.
Yeah.
And
I mean, it's cool, but it's kind of like me walking into the room after dreaming all night and having messages that I'm an angel and you talking about angel wings. Like it's exactly the same thing.
okay, yeah,
So it can be anywhere because God is everything.
yeah.
So it can be Netflix, it can be a radio, it can be a person, it can be anything. It can be a, it can even be a tree if you stood still long enough, you know.
It's funny you say that too, because there are many times we'd be going on the forest walk and then Winston would float his arm up and then point at a tree and hey, off you go. And then he would put his hand on the tree
I know it's not an accident that I said
and,
that,
and
Winston.
then I close my eyes and then maybe you feel this too. It's just it's this sensation of um it goes womp womp womp. It's like
Yeah.
yeah, okay. It goes womp womp womp.
I don't experience it, but I saw it for you. So, like when I'm talking to someone, I can see what's for them. So, the tree is one of your things, and so that connection, it's like the more you get connected to these energies, the more you'll find that you can get those messages from anything like that, like from those places, because the stillness in you, when it matches the stillness in a tree, for example, trees are very wise. They're very old souls, right? Imagine staying still for 50 years or 100 years. So imagine the wisdom required for that to be that still. And so when we connect with trees, they're teaching us that stillness. That's usually what they're teaching is they're teaching us to sink into that stillness because we're so like, oh my God, we can't stay still for 5 minutes or whatever it is, like an hour. We're like, oh my God. But a tree, imagine staying still for decades, you
Okay,
know?
that helped because I couldn't understand what the sensation was, and the closest that I kind of rationalized it was uh, maybe I'm grounding out to the tree. Um, and I
No,
think
I don't think so. I think it's grounding you. It
grounding me, but something was I I could feel um, coherence happening, like I'm being pulled together
yeah.
when I'm so that's what I considered
Grounding is the word for that. Yeah.
okay so, and
It's just like there's a lot of words in the English vocabulary, but in the spiritual world, there's a feeling, and there's a lot of words for that feeling, right? Alignment, grounding, coherence, but they're all the same.
okay good. I'm I'm scrambling for vocabulary because this is
Well, you
all
don't need
new.
it because the thing is, the vocabulary is irrelevant, and you can choose whatever words work for you or for the people you work with. Because in the end, humans invent words for things, and those things don't have words. And so every word we use waters down the power, like every single word. That's why people like Krishnamurti used very little words to describe things. People like the Buddha. What does enlightenment feel like? Not suffering. You know, they don't go into the whole, oh, it feels like this and that, and because they know it waters it down, it defiles it really, because then people start chasing something like a drug, when it's actually the absence of all those things. It's the emptiness of all those things. It's a space. That's what the tree teaches us too, that it's a space. And when I'm channeling, it's a space. And there's nothing in that space except for God.
then when I say I can't find the words to describe it, that's because there are no words to describe it.
Excellent. Yes, correct.
Because like I've said that multiple, I can't
So then
fucking
you don't have to look for them. You can just invent them. You can just make whatever words work for the person you're with. Um,
I can't even do that because
yeah.
when I remind myself of that, I get super emotional and I so I kind of give them here, feel this. If you can
Well,
open
that's what you
and
said.
feel
Yeah. I
this.
mean, that's what we found that you're here to do, right? You're here to help people feel what you feel. And you'll get better and better at that. And words are not required for that. In fact, words get in the way.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Because imagine, so for example, say you do a 10-day meditation retreat, right? So one thing about 10-day meditation retreats that I know after doing 3 of them is at the end, everyone wants to compare their experiences. No matter how evolved or enlightened we all are, at the end of 10 days, this happened for me. What happened for you? I had this, my body dissolved and I saw these spin. That was me. My body dissolved and all these spinning lights. Oh, this happened for me. Oh, that didn't happen for me. Oh, that. And then we start comparing and then we start like, and so that's the problem with humans, with the human aspects of us that it goes straight into analysis, strategy, comparison, um, and all of that is just like noise. It's noise. So, like if all of us were to be truly aligned, none of us would ever talk. That's why in retreats, you're not really supposed to speak because almost every word we speak is a lie in some capacity. Not everything, but a lot of what we speak is a lie. How are you today? I'm good. Might not be true. Often isn't true.
It's I- the words are going to come up to say it's funny that you say that because but it's not funny because you're just mirroring me back to me. There was on Monday when I went to go teach my class, there was this repeating vision message, and it boiled down to um, you can be in presence of someone and not say a word. You can have a conversation with someone and never have to say a word. If you're truly present with them and they're truly present with you and you hold space together, you can just sit there and look at each other and just be there and just feel the energy that's in the spaces and just be. And I was walking and in the moment just feeling this and I go and I remember feeling that for the first time when I met my guide and there's so few people that I've met that you just give each other a glance and just close your eyes and have this beautiful conversation.
Yeah.
And words are not said. So when you
Yeah. Or
so
like
when
I know this couple like where she was spoke English and he spoke Italian and they met on a beach in Italy when she was on vacation. And immediately their souls just knew each other and they didn't speak the same language. I mean, he only spoke a handful of English words, like not enough to even have a conversation. But their souls spoke to each other and they would just be together. And they couldn't talk, but they just loved each other and they ended up getting married and spending the rest of their lives together. So our soul has its own language.
I don't know if you're feeling something. My soul saying there's a secondary conversation going on right now that I'm aware of.
What do you mean?
There's a part of me speaking, I don't know, if speaking to you, it's speaking to something.
Hmm.
That there's an emotional undertone as I'm consciously speaking to you, but there's this secondary conversation that's happening.
Oh,
Uh,
what is it?
happy to be heard.
Well, that's nice.
Happy to be understood.
Hmm.
I could see tears flowing down the faces. Heart energy well up. Yeah. I do know I do know something changed in us after Sunday night. Like, well, how could it not be after being touched by the caretaker, the divine, whomever it was on the other side, that
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
it was
I
just
mean,
so.
for sure.
If it was a movie, the only scenes out of movies I could pick out is if you haven't watched The Creator, that movie speaks to my journey, where it's like this. There's this one scene where child's in this it's is in the escape pod, and his guardian is going to eject the escape pod, and that reach out, that don't go, don't go, don't go. That's what it felt like.
Hmm.
It's like there's invisible barrier and this longing be to be with them again.
Right. That makes sense. A lot of people have that feeling when they die and come back. They don't actually want to come back. Almost no one wants to come back, by the way. Pretty much no one ever wants to come back. The only reason they come back is because they say this person's going to need you, your daughter's going to need you, your husband's going to need you, or like that sort of thing. Pretty much no one wants to come back once they go back and they feel the love and they're like, well, you're not done yet. Like, what?
Yeah, that's what my spiritual mentor told me when I was cradled by the divine the first time. And
Huh.
that feeling of love and acceptance and acknowledgement and warmth and all that, all those feelings that I was seeking and chasing after, I got I got to experience. And now looking back, I got to remember. And you're right, if I could be bathed in that every moment, every moment, why would you ever want to leave that type?
Well, I mean, that's why, no, but that's why we come here. We come here because we're tired of that.
What happened? Yeah, I understand. I understand my experience is about context.
We're tired of feeling love all the time. So we come to Earth to feel some other stuff.
Yeah, to remind us of, well, what was said to me, it's like, Winston, when you understand what deep pain and suffering feels like, imagine what the other side's going to feel like now that you have something to compare it against, or to contrast, not compare, but to contrast it with. So that's why I stopped judging pain.
Right. Yeah, it's a world of duality. If you have, that's the thing about Earth. It's like people mistakenly think that it's possible for everything on Earth to be perfect and wonderful and loving, but that's not possible because of duality, because of duality. So the thing that's special about Earth is that all possibilities exist. And of course, there's a choice for love. There's a choice for kindness. But in order for there to be a choice, there has to be a choice for darkness. There has to be a choice for not kindness, right? Otherwise, there's not a choice. And if there's not a choice, there's not an adventure. There's no adventure. So the exquisite adventure that is Earth is created from the complexity of duality, which is the Tao, the dark and the light. The Tao, you know,
Mm.
I just saw it. I just saw it. So the Tao is like swirling masses of energy, and they're always swirling and creating out of that all of these things. And, some of them are wondrous and some of them are fucking horrible. Um, you know, genocides and shit like this. But it's always moving. It's always moving and it's always sort of being created and then dissolving and being created and dissolving. So it's like we come in here to be part of the dance for a blip of time. And old souls, which you're one, uh, we come here to try to contribute more of that light, more of that love. But yeah, it's important to develop a healthy respect for the darkness also,
Mm.
because a lot of people are confused, thinking that the darkness is bad. Oh, the pain is bad, and that we're supposed to do positive affirmations all day long and just be very, very happy all the time. Um, but as you may know, some of the greatest experiences on earth come from the other side of grief. Um, because then we appreciate, like after losing my brother, I would appreciate little things on a whole new scale, right? Because suddenly that context has created a new experience. So the context that darkness gives us, it creates a whole new depth of experience for us that we cannot access if we're just joyful all the time. And maybe you've had that experience, and I have, where you meet people who they had very happy childhoods, very loving childhoods, and it's wonderful for them. And they're just very happy all the time and very loving and very fun. And they're wonderful to be around, but they don't have depth of empathy. They
Mm.
don't have that deeper capacity to hold space for you or for anybody else. And for me, it's not that there's something wrong with them, but I don't resonate easily with them, right? Because they aren't able to meet the depth of what I am for this lifetime or what I've experienced in this lifetime. So yeah, so there's all these different, there's none of it's good or bad. There's just all these different swirling energies of experience. And we're just here for that dance, just we're here to be part of it and to create it. Like we're here to co-create the dance,
Yeah.
which is the most magical thing that we do here. And we're part of it inside of ourselves. So like the dance with ourself, with our human, that's why the third person method came through me. It's like to help our human is part of that dance. And most of us ignore that. And we think, oh, we're just dancing with other people. No, you're dancing with your own human inside yourself first, right? And then as we work on that dance and make it very loving, and so there's no more fight, war inside of us, because we're just giving love to our human, not because our human stops being rebellious, because that's what people think. I'm going to stop the war inside me by teaching my human to no longer rebel or have needs. It's like, good luck with that. uh, you know, it's by actually loving our human with all of his or her needs and just being really endlessly kind and understanding and being like, oh yeah, this is pretty weird shit. It's okay. And
I
then there's no more war because my human needs help all the time with us. Like, I know that's pretty weird, but you're going to be okay. Don't worry. So last night I had an experience that was very intense, that I would put on a spiritual plane. I didn't take any drugs. I did an MRI. And I don't know if you've done an MRI, but the new machines are fucking terrifying. And they put you on a it's like a spaceship. It's like being in outer space where, they go in and like operate on your brain. Like it's this giant machine in a room, and they put you on this table and there's people standing around you and they all have their masks on, and the table rolls into the machine until you are completely surrounded by the machine. And then it is so loud, I thought I was going to go deaf, and I'm not joking. I literally, my biggest fear for the entire 20 minutes, whatever it was that I'm going to lose my hearing because it just makes all these sounds constantly and it's smashing around. It's violent. It's like, and you can't leave. You have to stay perfectly still. You can't move. Even I'm breathing, but I had to be careful with breathing that I'm not moving because then they have to do it again. You didn't want that. But what's really interesting is when I was in that space, I decided to use it as a practice to help my human and to connect with that God force, what I call the space, really. I call it the God force, the space of love, right? And so I kept helping Sean and like, oh, I'm sorry, this is really scary. It's not going to be long. Don't worry, you can be safe, right? And then I would focus in on that space, like just to the point where I got so bad, Sean was freaking out so much. I had to just say, it's interesting because God is not a word that means what it means to other people for me. But I just said it over and over because there was so much panic. I just started going, God, 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 God. And then that helped me. And it just like I was able to center. And then I saw myself in the space. And I was just like, I dropped into the space and there was nothing there. I was just in the space. And it was just better than what was happening. So I was just in this space. All the other stuff was still happening, all the noise, but I was just being held by the space. And so like I moved into the space, I was held by the space. And then suddenly I realized, oh, this is God. God's helping me. And then I remembered, oh, this is what happened in Bufo. And then suddenly I brought me back to that same experience I had in Bufo where I'd been so terrified and I thought I was going to die because my breathing stopped and my heart stopped. And then the light came in and I said, the light is here. I announced that to the people running it because they were terrified for me because things were going just like to hell, right? And so I was like, don't worry, the light is here. I'm going to be okay. And they're like, okay. We knew all along, but I knew they were terrified. I could feel it. So anyway, that's what happened in the MRI was like I went into the focus, I went into the space, I was focusing on the space, being centered in the space, which took everything because of all the just it was like a war going on around my head. Like bombs, literally. It's like putting, if you were in a rock concert and you put your ear up against the speaker,
Mm.
that's how loud it was. And I
Wow.
am not joking. I am not kidding. Like look it up online. I'm not kidding. Like people have gone deaf from MRI stuff. So anyway, yeah, so that was like definitely a powerful experience where my human was just totally freaked out. I got my higher self to really take over. The light came in, it helped, but my human was still upset after. So like I came out, I was like, oh my, I was like so, you know. So after that, I had to take my human out. Just went to like Walmart literally and walked around. I was just like, we're just gonna walk. We're just gonna be grounded. We're just gonna be human. We're just gonna look at stuff. We're not gonna do any deep work. We're just gonna walk around. So like it took a good hour of just walking around Walmart, just being human. That's what I was doing. Just walking around, letting my little child loves grocery stores, like loves grocery stores, like at a not normal level. So we just walk up and down, like it's Walmart, but we're walking up and down the grocery store aisles because there's tons of them. So she's like, okay, oh, that, okay. And then I can feel like that. I'm like, it's okay, you're fine, you're here now, you're walking. Look, everything's fine, you know. So like that's the thing. It's like there's always going to be this dance with that's what I was showing. It's like it's okay, right? It's okay that your human freaks out. It's okay that your human is anxious. And the space is here and the space is real and you're living in it and it's fine. You know, all these things exist at the same time. Whereas other people, they want to go straight into the judgment. They want to go straight into the, oh, that means you're not loving yourself. Oh, you have anxiety. That means you're not doing the work. Oh, you should try this. Oh, here's a book for you. You know what I mean? It's like, no, you're missing the whole point. The whole point is that that's why you came here, to have the whole fucking range of experiences. That's
Well,
why you came here, you know?
so something that you said, well, first of all, I grew up in a grocery store, so I understand what you're
It's so much fun. That's cool.
um there's something you said where you said well, I can't remember your exact words, but when you said it, it reminded me of a moment when we were being uh, adjusted,
Yeah.
um, where Winston's eyes were closed, and I just told him, "Okay, it's okay, we're safe." And I would told him just relax and just let it go. Just let the energy leave your muscles, leave your tissue. Just let it go. That's why we're here. And what I saw, words are in my mind's eye, whatever that means, is I saw like as if it was like like a doll just hanging there, being held up by the field.
Yeah.
I saw at it's as if I was outside looking at the back of back and shoulders of the body. Like
Ah,
it was
you're seeing
very
it like
yeah.
remote
I was
viewing.
like I could. It wasn't super clear, but I was aware that
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
was watching, and then the body's moving around, but I wasn't experiencing it inside.
Yeah.
I could feel it happening, but I
Yeah.
was outside and feeling it all at the same time.
Yes.
And what you said when you were describing your experience in the MRI just reminded me of that, and was wondering if you had any insight to it because it was very clear. I was very aware that I'm observing something happening,
Yes.
but I wasn't really understanding how I was observing it.
You're remote viewing. Yeah. Remote viewing is you're outside of your body and inside of your body at the same time.
Well, I'm glad you understand that because like, to me, I was like, okay, this is kind of cool.
I mean, it's different. It's you'll get used to it. I think it's part of your healing future. I think it's part of your thing that you'll need.
Okay, to me, it was just it was cool. It was like I'm sitting there
Yeah,
watching a
it's
TV
okay to
show, right?
enjoy
It's
it.
like
It's
click,
okay
click,
to
click, click.
enjoy it. It's okay to enjoy it. Yeah, it's okay to enjoy it. I think it's part of your healing. I think right now you're going through a process of the healing aspects that you're here to develop, that you're here to share, are being, I'm going to say implanted, but that's not the right word. But they're being brought out of you. They're in you already. They're not being implanted, but they're being brought out of you. They're being
The word that
pulled
pops up
out,
is revealed.
being revealed. Yeah, just whatever words work. I don't. There's no words, right? I just
The word that popped up is like revealed. And like, okay.
perfect. So yeah, these are the things that are happening. You're having these things and you're getting this help and you do have like a team. I mean, you have not just one person, but you have a team, a soul team, right? Um, all old souls do. I mean, everybody does, but old souls really have a powerful team because we planned it before we left. You know, we knew we were going to need it. And you have a team. And so more and more you can rely on your team. So that's what I'm saying. When you're going through these things, one thing that's going to help you a lot is to be more conscious of you have a loving team and they're helping you and invite them to help more. Invite them to make it more peaceful, more gentle, more whatever. And because they'll want to do that. They want to do that and it's the relationship between you is part of the healing journey because they're going to help you heal. You're not a healer by yourself. I'm not a channel by myself. I didn't write my book by myself. We're
So,
part of a team, right? We're part
so
of a team.
what when you said that the first time, and the visions that are coming right now, or is it's like I have a pit crew. It's like that, and then they're there to help change the wheels or whatever it is. If this is a car, they would change the wheels and the
I
fuel
love
line.
it. Pit
Yeah,
crew.
so yeah. So
Oh, Winston.
I created a
Yeah.
pit crew. Yeah, I created a pit crew for Winston before we came in here, and they were just waiting to say Is it time yet? Is it time yet? Okay, let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, although they're much more than that, just to
Yeah.
be clear. Like they're like some of those beings are much more evolved than you. Some of those beings are very advanced beings, like I feel them right now. So pit crew might be a bit degrading idea for them. That's why I'm just like,
Okay.
nah, I'd be careful with that one. But definitely there is a pit crew, but there's others that are also your strategy crew. There's like a whole, you know what I mean? There's like a whole bunch of different levels. If you picture like a company, like there's a bunch of beings at different levels helping you with different things. But the idea that I want to put forward to you is inviting them to help you more often and not being afraid to ask for things to be gentle and safe because it's actually important for you to say that because they can't it's your free will, it's still your journey and it's your job, remember, to take care of Winston. So like Sean, so that was saying the greatest thing I learned on my journey was that it can be gentle. So like when I first started on the Kundalini journey, it was fucking violent and scary. It was terrifying. And I thought that's how it was supposed to be because all the books just talk about how terrifying and dangerous it is and all. And so I just it, but then once I talked to the teacher, the head teacher at the Vipassana retreat, and she helped me sort of understand that no, you, no, you're allowed for it to be gentle and it's for you to decide. I was like, oh, I get to decide that? Oh, okay. So then I started putting it at the front of every single meditation, every single day. Make it gentle for Sean, make it safe for Sean. Allow Sean to stay stable. Because here's the thing, if you lose your stability, what the fuck good are you? I mean, you can't help anybody. I mean, how many people on spiritual journeys have completely become unstable and ended up sometimes in institutions because this energy is going through them at such a high rate and it breaks their human's capacity to manage all these crazy things like spirits whispering in my ear when I used to wake up, Sean, and they weren't nice. These were not friendly spirits that were whispering in my ear. These were terrifying
No,
spirits.
no. So from what you're saying, what I'm understanding is I control the knob or the pressure knob if it's like a faucet, and
Mm,
there is a threshold of how much this the human can absorb and process at any point in time before it's overloaded and then burned out
yeah.
and unrepairable and damaged, I would say.
Well, I don't know, unrepairable, but like might take a certain amount of time, like like my back, or like when you think physicality, like when I injured the thing I got the MRI for was, last July, like a year ago, more than 12 months ago, I herniated the disc in my back and I could not lift my head for like weeks. Like it was the most excruciating pain that I've ever felt in my life. Because the nerve was trapped underneath inside that. And I spent literally hours and hours and hours sitting inside the pain in meditation because I had no other choice. Well, I did have another choice. I could just scream. I mean, that was my other option. But eventually I did some of that. Like literally I had a moment where I fell to the floor and said, just fucking kill me now. Like, I'm not joking. I'm not kidding. Like I was like lying on the floor going, just fucking kill me now. This is too, I can't, this is too much. Like the pain, because after hours and hours and days, like days and days of that kind of pain, you know, but then I was like, fuck it, let's use it. So then I started going inside of it and asking for help. So the whole time, I guess what I was trying to say is the whole time I was asking for help. How can I make this easier? How can I make this more gentle? There's no way to stop the pain that I knew of. How can I make this more gentle for Sean? And the message I got was take the drugs. So I took the drugs every 6 hours and meditate, go inside it. So that's what I started doing. So I would take the drugs. So I would have it still hurt like fuck, but it would be less brutal. And then I would go inside it because I was just lying on my bed, literally flat on my back for weeks, like for weeks. And I was really upset. My human was really upset because she had just signed up for a whole new dance program and paid a fortune for it. And All her friends were there.
Mm.
And it meant she wasn't going to get to hang out with her friends. She wasn't going to get, and she had just got into advanced after fighting for 2 years to get into advanced. Picture that. So emotionally devastating for my human, physically devastating. Also not sure if I would ever dance again or anything like that, because again, they're saying this is a serious injury. Like you shouldn't be doing this dancing anymore. Like, so all those things are happening the whole time. I'm praying to my team. I'm like, you guys, I say, you guys, you got to help Sean. Help me help Sean. We have to help Sean. You know, help me help Sean. That's my prayer all the time as the caretaker. Help me help Sean. And I still do that prayer every day, but especially in times like that, help me help Sean, because they're the only reason I got through that. Like, I wouldn't announce that publicly. I don't talk publicly about having a team helping me. I would never say that out loud. I talk about the higher self because that is the most useful thing for people. And because my higher self is through which everyone goes. No one can touch me without going through my higher self because I installed that because of all the demons and weird shit that I experienced during the Kundalini awakening, the scary things. In order to keep Sean safe, I installed that everything goes through my higher self. And nothing is allowed to touch Sean without going through higher self first. So that means nothing can come in that isn't safe. No spirit can contact me. No spirit can talk to me unless it's safe. So that's the power of that. But that was a choice too, to support Sean, to protect Sean from those things. Whereas other people will get totally fucked up and they'll be like, oh, I can help people, so I have to help those poor lost souls. It's like, no, you don't want to be helping those people because they're not here for your help. You think that they are, but that's not why they're here. They're just here to fuck with you. Because you're letting them, you know, you're allowing it. It's like allowing yourself to be bothered. But so yeah, so the point of that is more just like we have that level of agency to protect our human, to put love around our human, to make sure the journey is as safe as it can be. That doesn't mean that really brutal things aren't going to happen, like me being flat on my back for it took 3 months for that to heal. More than 3 months for that to heal completely.
What I'm getting from what you just shared with me is it's fine for me to explore, be curious, and try stuff out. But why don't I try doing that next time and then add the intention of instead of like using Sunday, for example, instead of trying something out and then having them notice and then come assist, to ask for the assistance before I do anything, so they're
Yes.
they're there. So that
Yeah.
I think that's what I'm
Yeah.
picking up from what you're saying.
That's right. That's correct. Because they can't help you without you asking for help. Or if you're like desperate for help, or they feel like, oh, I have to help because it's just like, you know, but they're not really supposed to help unless we ask for help.
Okay, that
So that's why we'll suffer like brutally until we're like, oh, help me. Or we like randomly help me. Like when I was lying on the floor, help me, you know, and they're like, finally, you asked. Okay, well, I'll help you.
okay. Well, see that was well, it might be intrinsic to my conditioning of just having a difficult time asking for help.
Yeah, of course.
It it makes sense where so looking back what happened on Sunday, it was like, hey, Winston's flailing around. Doesn't look like he's doing it the right way. Maybe I'll go over there and take a look
I think that's
help
what's
out.
happening. They're kind of standing there going, should we help him or not? Like, he hasn't asked for help. Like, should we help him? You know,
Says in the rules here, until he asks for help, he can't do anything. All right.
it's kind of like that. Like, it's not that cut and dry, but it's kind of like that. It's
Because
kind of like that.
well, another part of me is laughing. It's like, yeah, it is like that. It's
Yeah, I mean,
like
because
I
that's the
won't let you
design.
down. Well,
Yeah, like that's the design, right? Like, it's not a hard and fast rule. you can get help without asking sometimes, but it's not really part of the game. The game is usually that we're in charge. Our agency is like, that's what we have in this game is choice. What we have in this game is choice, right? It's a choice game. And we have, like, I see it, like recently, I got a vision, actually, very recently, that the way the game works is we come here with kind of like three levels that we can play the game at. It's kind of like minimum viable product and like awesome product. You know what I mean? It's like we have the minimum viable, which might be us like curled up in a ball for our lifetime or sitting on a couch watching TV or I don't know what. Like we just like go into total paralysis and fear and just don't. And that's fine. It's still, that's a path. And then we have the highest path, which is just like fucking do everything you wanted to do when you come here and do amazing shit, help people or whatever. And then you have like a mid level, which is what most people end up doing. Uh, it's like a mix. It's like you're not curled up on the couch, but you don't really do it all. You know what I mean? It's like something in the middle. And it's not wrong either. It's just like that's the game that we came to play. If you figure a game, most people when they play a game, not everybody plays at the level it's like oh, it's a game. You keep learning and growing. So
Yeah, I understand. You can start off in the easy and stay in the easy, or do you go play the next harder level and the next
and
harder
sometimes
level?
I think we go back and forth because I think we should like and I'm sure you've met people I have who just want to play hard all the time. They just like they're in the fucking hard zone every day and they like it. They want to be there. They like getting the shit kicked out of them. They like, I mean, they just, I'm not talking about addicts. I'm talking about people who are like constantly putting themselves out there, like facing their fears, like climbing mountains. You know what I mean? There are people who just like pushing all the time. And and that's the experience that they want. But for myself, I've found that I work better if I do the intensive and then I give Sean time to recoup. And then I like help with that and then go back out there full on into some other new hard adventure and then recoup. That seems to be how she works. So I think it's important to always check how our human, to learn about our human. Like that's one of the number one things that I teach with the third person method is get to know your human, like really get to know your human and get to understand what they need, like what they feel and what is too much and what is enough. And like, because we don't know, like that's the number one thing. Everyone assumes they know they're human, but they don't at all. Almost nobody knows they're human because they haven't taken the time to go inside and listen. They just assume they know because they think it's them, but it's not. It's not us.
I
It's
get
this,
I
yeah.
understand that now when
Yeah.
put the pen out and we chat or we look at the
Yeah, you're
food
doing
and
a
he
lot
points at
now.
that. I'm going, hey, go away, whatever.
Yeah.
Or I pick a shirt, then he drops the shirt and he picks up a different.
You want a different shirt? Totally. So you're getting to know him
So
a
it's a
100%.
well, it's not like it's never
Yeah.
like he chooses poorly. It's just like, okay, that makes you happier.
Totally.
When you're happy, everything's great, right?
No, 100%. Like my human. Now we have different parts of our human, like because our human is formed at different times. So our human is primarily formed from age 0 to 7. That's the core. So our human is essentially a child. But we also continue to be formed, from 7 to 15, and that's another major thing. So a lot of us, I don't know about you, but I have the inner 5-year-old and I have the inner teenager, and they are totally different beings. They are different. So like my like little human, my little 5-year-old, she likes flowers and everything's got to have flowers. Like everything has everything she wears has flowers. But this black stuff like this is my teenager. My teenager was the rebel. My teenager was the sort of fuck you, wore leather every day and like spiked hair and like dropped acid every weekend. For I don't know, years. I dropped acid every weekend for like 3 years. So yeah, there's also different parts to our human. And that's what I often say. We're not really one, like when I teach in my book and I teach my method, I teach that we have a human because we have to simplify. The whole point is to simplify the process. And it's true, we have a human that has these different aspects, right? It is our human and we take care of our human. But that human is really like a community of humans, like there's a few humans to make up that human. Just like internal family systems, has a lot of parts. And so like our human was formed, but for me, the parts are formed at different ages. So you'll have a part that's 5, and you'll have a part that's 10, and you'll have a part that's 15, and they'll all be different. They're still the same being, you know.
No, I will give you credit. I have dropped the suit and called it the human, but then to not confuse people, I don't say yeah, yeah. So Winston because they think Winston's the one speaking to them, but
Yeah.
so when I say the human, and then I go, hey, it's not like I don't know your name because
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
so I have
Totally.
these conversations with them. One thing that when you're talking about the different aspects. So on Sunday, so now it's about 2 in the morning, and I love it when I tell the story, and he basically does the physical storytelling. So he pointed at the screen of the laptop, and he pointed at this video that we had playing earlier. It was a it is a trance concert,
Mm.
and he kept pointing at it. All right, put the headphones on, turn all the lights, turn it on. And then I had this idea. I said, you know what? I'm gonna sit back. I'm gonna watch you dance.
Mm.
And it was so fucking cool. Like I was sitting there and then it's like it was ethereal.
Yes.
So like the music's playing and then he's jumping up and down and then the DJ would be there and then he'd
Yeah.
point at the screen. But he'd
Yeah.
point at it when like there's one song he loves and he goes, and you, and then he point at it. It's like I'm not pointing at it, so he's
Yeah.
pointing at it. So there's this understanding that obviously he's listening to the music, to
Yeah.
the vibration of the music, and it was just we're just doing this, and it was just this very cool, like dancing on the moon. Really,
That's cool.
it was super, it was super cool. But it was this idea of when I dance, I'm in control. So is he dancing in a totally separate dimension to this, and then he's dancing, and then when I kind of go, hey, show me what happened for you, and then I get to experience that other that other aspect of this
Yeah.
relationship, right?
Yeah.
Like it blew my mind that there's this other experience there
Yeah.
that
That you
I
can
can,
have these complex experiences inside yourself without going outside. Everyone thinks that's what I mean. Everyone thinks if you're going to have a relationship, it's with somebody else. But actually, the most complex and beautiful relationship we can ever develop is with ourself, with our human.
yeah. Oh, I started understanding that very recently, like earlier
Yeah.
this year
Yeah,
when
because most
separated the
people
two.
are trained like through the whole spiritual world. Everyone's always talking about this relationship with God or this relationship with spirit or with other people, but they're not talking about the relationship with their own human. And that's where I think we all have lost the way. Like, because the thing is, life is a mirror. It's a mirror of what's happening inside of us. Well, what's happening inside of us is our relationship with our human. So if from my experience, just from working with all these people, if we don't have a good relationship with our human, we are not going to have a great relationship with other people. It's going to get weird. And people will come to me and be like, I don't understand. I'm doing all this love stuff. I'm being so good to everybody. I've done fucking decades of inner work. And why is this guy still being an asshole to me? And I'll be like, well, because you're still being an asshole to yourself. And he's just reflecting that back to you so that you'll notice.
And that and this one goes back to this moment in the bathroom stall when I was letting go. I got to a point of letting go of the nervous system so it just relaxes. And then when I was moving, I realized qigong isn't necessarily feeling and interacting with the field on the outside. What happened? What if the work was to be so present with Winston that it's about at any point in time relaxing the next that the part that just tensed up to relax that, and then part that tensed up to relax that. So it's all internal. It has nothing to do with the external world. So it's all the movement is being aware of how you're moving internally. So it's like, oh, there's stress in that back joint. Okay, relax. And then you move this way. Oh, that one. And then it's just this never ending awareness of letting go of tension, of stress, of anxiety, and everything, and just floating around. And it's exactly the same movement, but now it's internal awareness. Versus it's on the other side of the skin versus feeling what's happening on the outside of the skin.
Yeah, it's like I always start a session with my clients, not everybody, but people who can handle it. And I get them to a place where I say, feel yourself from the inside. Feel yourself from the inside, right? Feel your skin from the inside. Feel your fingers from the inside. Feel your toes from the inside, because that connects you with your spirit. But what you just described is really important because it's actually your healing modality that you're going to teach.
I, I haven't forgotten about your vision. Why share with me how does feeling it, my idea of feeling it from the inside to like basically the outer atom of the of the human is if I have the depth where I can feel that just the other side of the skin here,
Mhm.
then that's as connected, no, as the separation has been basically reduced to like like one cell at that point.
Mhm.
Like how deep could I feel or penetrate into the body into this body to feel at the deepest depth I can, which is
Mhm.
the surface of the skin. Like that's the idea that I have. So when you said when you feel the inside of your fingertips, and that's how you, I think you said activate your
I'm just
spirit.
connecting people with their higher self, with their true self, because when you do that, it as soon as you ground someone inside their body from the inside, now you're spirit, now you're just connected. You don't have to understand it, it just happens. So so I do that just to get them connected to where those messages will just start flowing through them. Remember, I'm not a physical healer. You have a different job than I do. You have a different path. So for you, you're still exploring that. You're going to have to keep exploring it because you're not there. You're still on the journey of it being uncovered, and that's fun. That's supposed to be fun. It's not like you have to arrive there, and that's what the whole point is, the whole journey, right? Like the whole thing. So like you're still in the unfolding stage with that. So it's like so the thing that when you have that experience of like these different parts you are releasing and you're moving with them, right? So you're feeling it and you're moving with them. That's going to be part of that healing, I think, that you're going to do with people. It's like getting them to feel the thing and then move with that thing, feeling from inside. And you can also, as you get more tuned in, you'll feel it. So if they don't know, you can say, oh, well, let's move like this together, you know, and you can help them the way, the way that your soul friend helped you when
Yes.
you're, so you'll do the same for somebody else. So he's showing you what it looks like and what it feels like.
Oh, okay. Because what
Doesn't
it
that
felt
make
like,
sense?
it was just precision.
And
it
you're
was
going there. You're going there. You're going there. Don't let your human mind take over because you're not going to do anything. Winston's not going to do anything. Your higher self takes over. Remember, when I channel, I'm not here. The most powerful I can do is when I'm not here.
yeah. You remind me. Yeah. We just have to step out of the way.
Just gotta trust and help your human. Like I help my human feel safe. I don't say go away. I'm like, hey, just let's rest over here. You don't have to look, this is great. You don't have to do anything. You can just hang out. You're welcome to hang. You're part of this. This wouldn't exist without you. You're so important. Like a little 5-year-old, right? Oh, you're so important. You're going to sit right here with me while we do this. We're going to help this person. Isn't this exciting?
So we're going to help this person by standing here and letting the
Yeah.
soul team come in and then just okay for this moment
Yes.
doing it, and then away you go.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just like with your 5-year-old, right? You're going to be like, we're going to help together, but they're not going to drive. Your 5-year-old's not going to drive. But I
Yeah.
mean, the thing is, your human is still very, very, very important because what you have to understand is those higher energies can only shine through what your human is. So, like a frame or like a prism of light, it's going to shine uniquely through you based on what your human is, your human's experiences. That's why our experiences matter. Like my business, my background as a business journalist, and things like this are create a certain prism so that when I sit with leaders and talk about spirit, I can do that in a way that's not weird or it's less weird than somebody who's like, I am Ariel, fairy of whatever. You know what I mean? Like people who really annoy the shit out of me too. Um, so so that's the frame, right? The fact that Sean is someone who's very practical and she just wants to like create impact, right? And meets these other people so that when the that light shines through, it's shining through that frame. And Winston is the same. So our 5-year-old, our little human is very important because without the uniqueness that they are, this person would not be being helped. So that's the part where Sean, I let her know that she does matter, where I'm like, no, we wouldn't be able to do this without you because you wouldn't.
It reminds me of a conversation I had, and it's actually a practice that I let go. I was speaking to my friend Jivy, and we were talking about how there's a prism inside of each of us, and sometimes when we get traumatized, there's a the prism might get chipped or might get cracked. It doesn't mean that it can't ever be repaired.
Mm, that's
And some
beautiful.
people
Or
look
it
at
doesn't
it,
have to be repaired because it'll just create new rays of light in a whole new way. Might be interesting.
but the
Like
part
the
that
Japanese, belief that, when something breaks and then the way that it's fixed is what makes it beautiful.
oh, I've
Um,
seen that where they fill it full of gold and it's just it's still there. It's still in one. It's still together, but the imperfection is what makes it more beautiful.
that's it.
Um, but the part that I didn't see until we had the conversation was what I saw was little Winston going up to the prism and takes his little microfiber cloth and goes and starts polishing off all this residue that happened to accumulate through time because the prism was neglected. It just got kicked around and tossed around and
Yeah,
all dirty and finger smudgy.
yeah,
To go up and just I'm doing it right now, just sitting there, just
yeah,
polishing it up. So it's just clear, and so when it light hits it, it's clear, it's clean, it's just like
yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah, and we clean it. The way we really clean it, to be honest with you, Winston, is is we help our human feel safe, loved, and enough. That's what cleans it. All the dirt comes from our human not feeling safe, loved, and enough. So it's not our human's job to clean that thing. It's our job to help our human. Because when our human feels absolutely safe, loved, and enough as he is, that thing is clean.
Well, thank you for that.
Yeah, well, I have a little human who's always trying to clean and fix everything too. Because that becomes the training if you grow up with parents who expect things from you, who expect you to take care of things and fix things, and you had that. Um, But we want to change that programming for our human, because that's not our human's job to fix and change everything, clean everything, organize everything, solve everything. That's not our human's job at all. And it can be very comforting for our human to know that. Be like, no, you know what? You don't have to fix that. Because you know what? This higher part of you is going to fix it. And it's still part of you. Because my human will be like, what about me? It's still part of you. Don't worry. There's a higher part of you, but it's still you. But it's going to fix it. You don't have to worry about it. And it doesn't work for everyone because, again, words are words. God's going to fix it. Your future self is going to fix it. Your team's going to fix it. Doesn't matter. You don't have to fix it. That's the important thing.
What I see when you share that, it all goes back to the same thing. It's just having little Winston. He's holding on and say, "Well, what do you mean? Just let it go. You don't have to fix it. I'll fix it. Someone else will fix it." And just to
And that's exactly what you experience when you're lying on the floor trying to fix it. And then someone else came and fixed it. Literally.
those were the words I actually said. And I said, "Okay, just relax, let it go. We're letting it all 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 go." And yeah, someone else came to help let it all go.
Well, that's the important part to remember. It wasn't about Winston letting it all go. It was about Winston allowing himself to receive help.
Thank you. Because there's trusting it.
That's hard. But it's a process, and we can keep helping our human with that. Trust me, Sean does not trust anybody.
Wow. Yeah, we have severe trust issues too.
That's totally understandable, right? So that's where the empathy comes in, is like, oh, like for me every day, I'm like, oh, I totally understand why you don't feel safe trusting people. And that's okay. But you know what? People are pretty good. And you know what? The other thing is that God, or I say God because Sean grew up with God, with that word, but I don't think of it the same way, but I use it all the time. So I'll be like, God loves you and God's real. I say that all the time. God loves you and God's real. And God's shining through everything for you. And she'll be like, no, because she thinks God was evil and mean, right?
Mm.
Because that's what was the experience. Like there was some very, bad, like Sean was like sexually molested by a church. Like just very serious shit that happened with God. And the hell and brimstone speeches, and things like this. And then thinking that she was being attacked by demons because she was evil. And like there was just so many weird beliefs in Sean's childhood with God. So my number one thing with Sean is always, oh, I'm sorry, honey. I totally understand why you thought all those things, but it wasn't true. God's real and God loves you. And God would never hurt you. And it's nothing like those were people, and people are fucked up, but not God.
I just remembered we have asked the field for help. What's the difference between there were I have where I remember multiple times a few weeks ago where had our back was just tight, and then I would connect with the field and I asked, "Can you help Winston release the tension in his back because it's causing pain?"
Mm.
So I wasn't asking for me; I was asking the assistance for Winston based off our
Yep.
conversation. And
Well,
then
there is no you.
it was guided to put it down on the ground, and I put a mat out, put it down, then we lay down, and then we could feel the energy go up and do its work. If you had any perspective on it, what was the difference? I know I asked,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
then that happened, but on
Yeah.
Sunday when I didn't outright ask
Yeah.
what had happened,
Yeah.
if you had any idea of what?
Absolutely. Empathy. Your guides have empathy for you, and they got tired of watching you suffer.
uh,
And so They just stepped in. Like I said, the rule's not hard and fast. I mean, they're mostly supposed to leave you alone because that's what you wanted, but empathy.
Okay, so it's like, okay, he's kicked the shit out of himself enough for the last hour. Maybe
They're like, oh, let's help him. Like he's because they just want you. The idea is for you to have enough of the experience to realize that you're not in charge, that you're not going to be able to fix it, that it's not the human that fixes things. That requires us to roll around and suffer for a while first, like me when I had the back pain and, trying, but then realizing, oh no. And this was the greatest thing I ever learned as a channel that made me a way more powerful channel. The greatest thing I can realize is that I'm not doing it and I'm not doing it alone. And the more I began to invite help and realize, no, I'm part of higher forces. I'm part of a team. I'm part of a community that's loving, that's kind. I'm not alone. Because remember, the hardest thing is our human growing up feeling alone, right? But the absolute truth is, Winston, we're part of a soul family. And that soul family is absolutely loving towards us and always there watching over us and always in our corner. And so when our human is like, I am alone, like my human especially, I am alone. I just want to end my life. There's no point. No one cares. Nothing's ever going to work, right? So many times my human went to that place over the decades. And I've had to go to her and be like, no, honey, you know what? I know you don't see it, but there's a whole team of beings loving you and they're in your corner and you're not alone, you
that's
know?
what you just described was Sunday night when
Mm,
I took the psilocybin. I knew when I started feeling sad, I go, okay, I understand what's about to happen next. It's revealing, door opened. This is going this is revealing itself. The shame, regret, of all the stuff that didn't happen. Okay, get it. Sat through it.
well, that was your human, though,
Yeah.
that
Yeah, that
needed
was
help. Yeah.
it was released. It was emotions that wanted to be acknowledged.
I'm just saying that was your human who needed help from you. He needed your love. He needed your acceptance. Because there's still a minimalization there where you'll forget that those humans are not that those feelings are not yours. Those feelings are his, and he's 5 or 6, and he needs help with them, right? And so going back and forth between those two things, when you think they're yours, you'll minimize and go back to just the spiritual stuff. But if you remember, oh no, that's a human that needs me to put my arms around him when he feels sad. So that because that's why when you told me that story, I immediately knew that was the whole point. Is like it opened up so that because that part of you felt safe to show you. He's like, look, I have this sadness. Can you help me? And you're like, just let it go. You know what I mean? It's like, no, you got to put your arms around him and just be like, oh, hi, I'm here with you. And like,
And
you
that
know,
that was the whole spiral from that moment of wanting empathy and love and to to the other side of it of soul family going there saying we're here, like I see you, like literally, like I see you, we're
yeah,
here. And to connect those two moments together, it's like I'm alone, like why do I I had those thoughts, like why do I bother?
that's the human. That's not you.
I'm a failure, I'm this, I'm this, like
That's
all
your little
this.
5-year-old.
Yep. And it bubbled up and we felt through it, went through that flailing moment, and then that ultimate, hold up, when they stepped in or someone stepped in to do that, and then that it's almost like my grandfather coming down and says, "You're gonna be okay."
Yeah, he's probably there right on your team, no doubt.
And yeah, well, how you described it, like that was the whole experience where we're alone. So you're not alone. We're here. We're here. And it was incredible.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's the greatest frustration for our team, our loving team of soul, our soul family, is like watching us struggle and scream into the void and like hate life and hate ourselves and think that we're alone. And they're like, duh, we're right here. Like you're not alone. Like stop. You know what I mean? So like I think that's probably like I'm just like projecting here, but I think that's probably the frustration because they love they love us so much and the love is so powerful that like when I felt it in the Bufo experience, like I remember like my human had taken over and was like going into the trauma in a deep way, screaming like we talked about and crying, like literally at a depth I've never done to the point where thank God we were in the middle of the countryside. The police would have been called for sure. But my human went full on into the pain of existence, of humanity, of every heartbreak, of every loss, of every death that she's been through, not just this lifetime, but multiple lifetimes. There's no question. There was multiple lifetimes happening at once there because the pain was like nothing I've ever, like I thought I was going to explode from the pain of existence, of being human. But then the light, I asked for help, right? I asked for help. Help me, team, because the people running it were nice, but they weren't able to help me. So I was like, help me, team, help me, help me. And then that's when I saw the light. It's like a searing light. Just it was so clearly light, like in the darkness, that I announced it. And then after that, even though it was still really hard after that for my human, it was fine because now I was like, they're here. Look, you're loved. Look, you're safe. You're not in danger. You're not going to die. My human's like, I'm not going to die. I'm like, you're not going to die. And then she's like, okay, whatever happens, fine. So like, so then my little human, could surrender into that experience. And then it was much nicer after that, even though it was still hard there wasn't a war happening anymore because my human at that point was fighting and that's what causes all our problems. Our human is fighting, 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 thinking that he or she has to fight, something, fix something, fight something. It's like a struggle, right? And then that creates all this tension in our body. That's where all the like tension happens in the body where you can feel it. Like I can feel it now if I like, I'm moving like, oh, there's all this tension. Well, when we meet our human with all that love and zero expectation, and just be like, no, you don't have to fix anything. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to change anything. You're perfect as you are. You don't even have to stop crying. You don't have to stop feeling anxious. The amazing thing that happens is the fight stops.
Mhm.
And when the fight stops, the higher self takes over because that's who you are. It's just there. And that's my method. That's the power of my method. That's why it works. It's because we're all going about it with all these complicated things. But the truth is simple. If you help your human feel safe, loved, and enough, and you put your arms around your human and you help your human chill out, right? Like just be whatever she is or he is, our higher self just takes over. And it's like, okay, finally, I can get back in here because if you have your human's micromanaging everything. I need to solve this, I need to fix this. And remember, the higher self can't argue with that. It can't come in unless invited.
Okay. So you can't override.
Yeah,
And when you say you shared your method, I appreciate you doing that. My version of those words are I create a place in coherence so it brings your energy, your scattered energy back together.
mm,
And when that happens, your nervous system recognizes this stillness
mm,
and it feels safe. And probably for the first time in your life, your nervous system just relaxes and goes,
yeah,
and then from that space, anything can happen. And
I agree.
it's but it's like I'm listening to you and
Yeah,
this is going. Well, that's exactly what we do, but we're
Well,
we
you're doing it from inside. This is why I'm saying we do the same thing in different ways. You're doing it more, it's like the actual experience of calm, right? And for me, I'm also creating an experience of calm, right? Because in the end, that's the only thing any healer does. Like this, because that's the only work there is like we all have a higher self and we all have a human that's getting in the way. That's the work. There is no other work. There's thousands of practices, but that's the work. And we can call it alignment or coherence or whatever. It doesn't matter. I call it consciousness or it doesn't matter. It's peace. That's what it fucking is. It's peace. It's peace. And so, like, you allow people through this practice, and I feel like you're going to be able to do that at a very high level. I know that for sure.
thanks.
I know it.
Okay.
I'll let you know. So don't worry, it's coming, and I'm always right about this when I see it. It you're practicing it inside yourself, learning all these things inside yourself, having the physical, actual, genuine experience, because then you can help other people experience it. And that's what you told me you wanted. You want other people to feel the way that you felt, to feel that
It
peace.
goes back to something my a mentor said to me, yeah, you can only teach what you know.
Right.
And when he said no, it's like it was not no, but like you physically felt it, you physically done it, then you can go teach it. Otherwise, it's just theory.
That's right. That's why healers go through hell by choice, by their soul's choice, not their human's choice. Their human is like, fuck that. I don't want this.
Right.
But your higher self is like, no, no, you will. Hang on, just stick with it. It's going to get better. Like, this is what we needed so we could do that fun higher thing that you want to do. Because you can't be a powerful healer if you have not suffered. It's not possible.
Yeah.
Nelson Mandela was never going to be Nelson Mandela without 27 years of suffering. That's a lot of fucking years. And I think about him a lot. Like he's my hero, right? I have a few, but he's my number one because he has shown me more than anyone that if you really want to live that highest path, you're going to have to go through shit. You're not going to create it. You don't need to force it on yourself. But when it's there, you got to allow it and trust that this is what's transforming you for that path. Because what's amazing to me and what's always inspiring for me with him, is he was 75. I complain because I'm 55. I complain because I'm like, fuck, it's taking so long. He was 75 when he got started, when he got out of prison. And he had the next 15 years were insane. They were so beautiful and powerful and amazing that the whole world will never forget his name or his impact, you know. So it's not that I want to be Nelson Mandela. I don't want to be that. I'm not looking for that. It's more like the beauty of knowing that the pain served a purpose. You don't need to force yourself to experience pain, but if it's there, when it's there, to use it in a way where then you can help others. So I'm always looking at what can I learn from this? Like when I had that weeks of lying on my back in that excruciating pain, I was like, okay, I'm going to sit inside it. And then I reminded myself, thousands of people live with this pain every day for their entire lives. Thousands of people have chronic pain. What's it like for them? They probably want to end their lives every single day. What could I say to them? And when I sat inside it and sat inside, the realization was, you're not your pain. That's what I could say to them. You are not your pain. You're so much more than your pain. There is a part of you that is untouched by that pain. There's a part of you, there's a place inside you where there's a space that you can reside, maybe not every minute of every day, but you can visit it where the pain is not there at that level. Because I was able to go inside it. Not for the entire time, but I could go in it and then I'd come out of it and then I'd go back in it again. I'd be like, whoa, I'm back in it again. The pain is gone, but I'm in this space.
listening to you, I'm going to send you the link to that documentary. It said something just really resonated with me when I listened to you talk about Nelson Mandela. And it was very simple metaphor where it goes, a flower can only bloom when it's meant to bloom. And if you force it to bloom, then you destroy the beauty of the flower. And the
Mhm.
flower can only open and emerge when it's ready to emerge, and not any sooner.
Yeah.
And it it just knows when. It's like the
Yeah.
universe has programmed it. It's just it does what it's meant to do. And listening to you, it's like, yeah, you can do what you're meant to do if you get out of the way so you can do let,
Yeah, it's hard. I mean, it's the thing is I can say these things, right? But I struggle every day to do them.
yeah.
I can say, and this is the thing that people find really hard to understand that I want to talk about more, which takes courage because it's not easy for me to talk about it because people have all these expectations that if you're a healer, if you're a clairvoyant, you should just know everything. Everything should just work. If you're helping people do amazing things, you should just be amazing all the time. And that's not how the journey works at all. It's not how the journey works at all. It's a journey, and there's always going to be the adventure of that, the hero's journey, the listening to your human, helping your human. And then you get up to a new, like I always like this saying, new level, new devil, right? And it's like we're always going to have a new level. Like, I've done lots of things. Like I ran my children's charity, or like I was a business journalist for like a major magazine, or like I went and worked in South Africa and followed around my hero, like who was like awarded by Nelson Mandela. I was in South Africa studying under a guy who won an award from Nelson Mandela. Like I got close to my hero. I got close to that. And this guy was basically Nelson Mandela in a different form. I call him the Nelson Mandela of education. That's what everyone there called him. Um, so yeah, so like those things, I've had those moments, and then I've also had those moments where that falls away, and then there's a whole new thing, like when I had my dream house and I was a permaculture farmer and I was married and I was a workshop facilitator, Business Across Canada, and I had a whole life, a whole identity. And then that collapsed and then it was gone. And then it was like start over from scratch. That's the life of a powerful healer. That's the life of that's because not I'm not saying that's because I'm a powerful healer. I'm saying that's the life of all people who are old souls, not just healers, but high level leaders like Nelson Mandela, right? People who came here to help others are going to go through these different doorways of growth. And it's always going to be so that we can help people at that higher level. It doesn't mean we have to suffer all the time. Like one of the greatest realizations I had is that at some point you don't need to suffer because suffering is actually optional. You know, like suffering is fighting the thing.
Yeah.
Like not suffering doesn't mean ending those things because there's always going to be war and change and hurricanes and shit like we're on Earth, you know? But suffering actually comes from here, right? From fighting the thing, not wanting the thing, like stop the thing, don't let the thing happen. That's where the suffering comes from. So, like when I had that back pain, the moments of peace came from accepting and being in it, not liking it. I didn't have to like it, but just like not fighting with it. So, I think a lot of our pain comes from fighting, 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 fighting.
And
you
that
know?
and that's was that teaching in that micro moment in the stall of
Mm,
don't fight it. Like
yeah.
don't but like why does this bicep have to be tense right now? It doesn't. So just
Mm,
relax and let the tension go. And then the tension moves over here. So okay, it's over here now. So now let it go. Now it's over here. Now let it go. And it moves. But it's not,
mm,
don't label it as bad. Just be aware of where it is in your body and don't hold on to it.
mm,
Just let
yeah.
just let it move. And it was a whole different way of it felt just like I would normally do Tai Chi Qigong except all the sensations were internalized
Wow.
versus feeling the external resistance was all playing with internal resistance. And I thought that was wild.
That's profound. Yeah.
Whole different application of awareness, which
It
which
is
when
that.
you
Yeah.
yeah, when you said, but then what you said was clear too. When I was in that state, I felt expansive, like it's like very ethereal because it was just until you mentioned it, and I remember now. There's so much more of the higher self is now collecting in here that
Yeah.
for that moment it there's a higher ratio of higher self to human, so to speak.
That's no, that's a great description. Over time, that's what happened to Nelson Mandela. That's what happened to Jose Mujica. That's what happened to all my heroes. Eventually, there's more higher self than human. And it's not to insult our human, it's just that it's not really that it's more that the higher self is driving. The human's still there, but the higher self is driving more and more and more. Human's still there, but the higher self is driving more and more, right? And so, like, that's what expansion is. Expansion isn't learning,
Or how about putting
you
it this
know?
way? To use the metaphors I always use, we've gotten rid of so much dense, crappy, old energy that's been in this body for so long. We cleared it all out that there's more open space for this other energy to come and take its place inside.
Mm.
So it's not like there's a higher ratio. It's a high ratio of higher higher energy versus this dense old energy that
Well, I mean, I think that's true, but it's a result of the human fighting less. So, like, because there isn't really like, here's the thing. Dense energy is not like a thing that we have. It's a temporary experience, right? And it's tied to the fight inside of us. It's tied to thoughts. It's tied to beliefs. So the reason why I say that is as a healer, it's always important to remember that things can be healed instantaneously. We don't need a process. We think we need a process, and we talk about the process. Even now, we're talking about the process. But while there's often a process, instantaneous healing is still possible. It's always possible. And I always hold both. The process is here, and I'll probably go through the process, but instantaneous healing is also possible. Because remember, I healed my knee on a street in Mexico after this long process, but in that moment, it was instantaneous healing at a level that had never happened in my entire life.
yeah,
Uh,
you reminded me of that. I've had that experience a few times in the tank where I'm releasing the muscles,
mhm.
and the thought was, well, why do we have to go why can't we just go, like zip down from shoulder to fingertip? I'm like, okay, let's try that. Whoa, whoa. And then the next time we did that. It's like, why do we have to go from here? Why can't we just tell the arm just to let it all go? Like,
Yeah, because there have been healers in history
yeah, like, it's
who
just like,
can help people heal instantaneously.
but
And
it's
there's been people who've healed themselves instantaneously. And I myself have healed my knee instantaneously, like after a whole process of like developing belief and stuff like this. But it's 100% possible. And all the rules, the only rules that exist, they're here. And this is where all the stuff happens. So that's why I was saying, like, the more that we help our human. So here's the thing: the more we help our human feel safe, loved, and enough, the parts of our human that fight all of that dissolve. The fear dissolves. So it's not like our human dissolves, but the fear dissolves. The fight dissolves. The anger dissolves. The sadness dissolves. It just dissolves because our human feels safe, feels love, feels enough. And so that creates a huge space when there's no anger, sadness, fight, when there's not a little 5-year-old in there going, ah. Our higher self just takes up the space, that the love. And our higher self is just love. It's not like getting rid of our human. It's just like love. There's all this love. And then our human's happy because our human's surrounded by all this love, you know? And it's just like when you see someone like Nelson Mandela or even like Dalai Lama or someone like that, they exude playful, childlike joy, even though they've been through living hell. Nelson Mandela lived through hell, literally hell on earth, and lost family members and saw people murdered that he loved, and, just had horrible, horrible things happen. And yet, when you would see him, he's full of joy. Why? Because he had reached that level of expansion where his human no longer felt all that anger, whatever. And it was a process. It was a very intensive process that included forgiveness and things like this that were hard. But, he writes about that in his book. But there's no one way. That's the magic is whatever the hell gets us to that place where there's way less of the sadness, anger, fear, because we've wrapped it in love, not because we've forced affirmations on it or some stupid shit like that, because we've actually met it with love. Like Rumi says, right? Treat every feeling like a guest, like a welcome guest. Invite them all in.
Yeah,
You know,
that is
that's what
something
he
that,
meant. And every mystic,
yeah, that's
every
something I've learned is to not judge, criticize, or label emotions that come up. They just are, and to embrace it, just embrace it. And that has changed. That's changed how it's changed my experience.
yeah. Yeah, because there's a different like there's because if I think it's me, and for many, many years I did all the meditation retreats and everything as me, trying to sit with my feelings, my pain, my anger, that did not work. But if I'm helping Sean with her pain, her feelings, her anger, suddenly it's so easy. It's just a tool. Because in the end, if we go right down the rabbit hole, in the end, Sean is a temporary construct and she's not even real. She's a bunch of thoughts and beliefs that think they are Sean. But she's still an incredible, amazing, magical gift for this lifetime that we get to have that experience. But that's way down the rabbit hole and would be very hard for most people to know what to do with. So I don't really go there very much.
Yeah, I just took a peek down there to get it.
I mean, it's not really a healthy place to live for most people, to be honest. Because it takes us down other avenues that aren't useful because our human grabs onto that and like does things with it. So, but it is the truth that in the end, our soul, our spirit is it just is. It's not even a thing. It's not higher. There is no higher self, right? There's no lower self. It's just like consciousness having fun, playing a game with itself, pretending that it doesn't know who it is. Like,
Playing hide and seek with itself.
yeah, right. That's really what it is. That's what we really are. That's what we really are. But that's not useful for most people. It doesn't help most people. For me, I'm all about what's the most helpful, what's going to bring the most love into this world, what's going to align people with the love that's inherent inside of them. Because that's what's going to create a more beautiful dream for all of us, a more beautiful game where we can all win, where we can all play together in the sandbox of life and create fun, beautiful things, which is entirely possible. And we don't have to just be destroying and kicking the shit out of each other all day, you know?
Thanks for listening and helping me see perspective on my experience because it was it's touching. I shared it with a couple of people, and when I get to that point where I could feel relive that moment where I feel the caress on my face. I just break down in tears.
Mm. Well, I mean, let's be real. It was a profound fucking spiritual experience. Like, come on. Like, let's not pretend that's not amazing. We don't want to forget the magic and recognize the magic and be like, holy shit, like this is magic. This is wonderful. It is magical.
Yeah.
It's okay to enjoy it. And
And the one thing that echoes back last last couple of days while I'm sitting here stalling, not taking action, is I'll reflect on that, and then the whisper that comes is, "What are you afraid of? If this happened, what are you afraid of? If this happened, what are you afraid of?"
mm,
Use, and then for you, I'm grateful for you to go expand this experience. You got a team there. You got a team waiting to help you. What are you afraid of?
mm,
These two things can't exist at the same time. It's like you can't be afraid of failing if you have a support team like this waiting to help you. It doesn't make sense. And the grip of the fear is loosening every day.
yeah, I see that.
But it's just
But it helps to remember your 5-year-old will always be afraid. Your little person formed from age 0 to 7, who is your human, will always be afraid, and that's okay. We don't have to force that to change. We just have to not let that person drive and help them with it. So, like, you know,
share with you. Now I think I get a much clearer perspective of why you wrote this. Um, so after that experience, I had crystal clear clarity
mhm.
to have my friend help guide me to write a book, because I when I went to Ottawa for
Yeah,
Destinyfest, I told her, it's like, you got to share this because people need to know this.
yeah,
I help people, and I took a few steps back, but that I thought was a beautiful end chapter.
yeah.
And then I messaged her to say I'm ready to go, and I didn't hit send.
Mm.
And I sat with Winston and say, "What do you think?" And he wrote down, "Are you sure?" Oh, sure what? I don't understand. He goes, "Writing." And I could feel this little tiny tingle, but what you just said spoke to that. It's uh, it's okay for him to feel afraid. Um,
I love that.
and I didn't question it. I didn't force it, but I'm like, I'm curious because when I was in that moment on Sunday, just just have a lot more ratio of higher self in here. It was clear what the action was, and then when
Yeah,
like came back to baseline again,
yeah.
little instant, he goes, "You sure you want to share this story?" And I go, "Yeah, yeah." And I talked to him. I go, "Yeah, we're sharing the story to help people, to help people. It's not to we're not doing it to brag or make fun of people and they not know and we're better. No, no, we're sharing this and explain the whole thing." And then he wrote later, it's like, I am okay. So it's this.
Well, yeah, because that part of us is always going to be afraid, and the thing is, that's the part that blocks us from living our potential if we don't meet it with love, because it creates resistance. And so it's all a practical thing. It's not really a conceptual thing the way that it often sounds, even when I describe it. It's a tool in the end. Like I teach it as a tool because the resistance is what will block you. And the thing is, there's still a war happening if you think it shouldn't be there. And so the minute that you embrace it with give it kindness and talk to it with love and say, hey, oh, like I say to Sean all the time, oh my gosh, I totally understand that you're terrified of going on YouTube or terrified of going on social media. And I totally understand you're afraid people are going to attack you and they're going to think you're weird and They're going to think that you're lying, and then they'd be open. So I totally understand you're scared of that. And you know what? You don't have to do it if you don't want to. What do you want to do? And then I listen. And she'd be like, checking me out to see if I'm testing a bit. She'd be like, I don't know. Maybe I don't want to do it. I'm like, okay. Are you sure you don't want to do it? No, I want to help people. I'm like, oh, I thought so. Okay. Well, let's see. Let's try then. Because
Yeah.
here's the thing. You're human. Our little human, when we trust in our human completely and we make our human feel safe, loved enough, and know that we are in our human's corner and we care about his or her feelings, I guarantee you every time we'll be like, okay, I want to help people. Let's go try. It's going to be weird. It's going to be hard, but let's go try.
Well, I get the tingle. Well, Winston let me feel the tingles when he heard that. And the word that came up when you were describing um, the acknowledgement part was don't dismiss, don't dismiss them. But I grew up in an environment where heavily dismissed.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I can see that. I can see that.
what you described was not that. It's like you feel sad. It's like go away. It's like what? Don't bother me. Like
Yeah,
this is
yeah.
I don't know what to do. It's like feeling sad.
Well, that's why I created this tool. That's why this tool was shown to me because I had the same problem as you. I also grew up in an environment where if I was sad, I was told to go away and I was told to be happy or I would be punished, physically punished if I was sad, if I was crying too much. You know, I'll give you something to cry about,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
So so of course so that's why we need a tool and understand that it's a tool and that's not automatically there. The empathy is not installed toward our human, that it's not there. And we have to work every single day of our lives to install it, right? That's why the tool is there. That's why we need tools, whatever tools they are, but some kind of tool to install empathy toward ourselves every single day of our lives because it's not natural. We are not taught 99% of people are not taught. And yes, I made that up, but I think it's probably true. Like most people are not taught empathy, not modeled empathy, because this world is just not built on empathy right now, you know? And so if we want to create a world that's empathetic, and I certainly do, because that's going to be a beautiful world that will be fun to live in, we've got to start with our own human. You know, we've got to learn how to be unfailingly, unconditionally empathetic and kind to every one of our humans' feelings and needs and desires, even if they're ugly and weird, even if they're not acceptable by others or humanity in general. If our humans like, I hate them and I want them to die, you know, you'd be like, oh, well, that's a pretty strong feeling. Oh, I'm sorry you feel that way. You know, why don't you tell me more about that? You know, because it's always going to be, remember, that part of us is formed from age 0 to 7. So that part of us is not logical at all. It's like, you know, that's the kind of part that screams at its parents, I hate you and I want you to die. It doesn't mean that.
see that what
So,
you said there made it helps me understand because the messaging that when Winston writes is it's raw. It's very raw, and sometimes I'll even have to fire into AI to get an idea. Like, whoa, what? Can you help translate this?
yeah,
Like, what you said just makes helps with that immensely because like it's using very um, base base vocabulary of a child to articulate complex emotional state.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
makes total sense. Yeah, I hate you. I want you to die. It's like, okay, so how are you cheerfully really? How are you feeling? Because I
Yeah. And you know, if you really listen, if you have empathy for that human, you're like, oh, you sound like you feel frustrated. You sound like, you know, like you're in some kind of pain, or you think that person says not nice to you, or what's happening there. And that part will, when it starts feeling safe, will actually communicate. That's the most amazing things that my client experience is when their human starts talking to them.
yeah,
And they're like, whoa, this is weird. They'll like send me text, oh my God, My human just started talking to me. I'm like, that is normal. That is good, right?
Yeah, it's great. It's great.
But because there are parts of us in there and they don't feel safe. Because here's the thing, it's the thing that everybody's missing. The whole reason why we need to install this caretaker, however we do it, is because we already have a manager in there. We have an adult imprint that is a composite of all the adults we grew up around. And it's installed and it's running our lives secretly. And it's managing our little kid, our little human with an iron fist. And it's like, you're not allowed to feel that. Oh, that's selfish. Oh, that's bad. Oh, that's wrong. And it's all subconscious. It's all happening. There's a relationship happening and it's blocking our higher self. Our higher self is trying to help, but it can't get in there. So the reason why we need to install this caretaker is to replace this manager that's secretly there whispering shitty things to our human 24/7. Like, aren't you selfish? Oh, who do you think you are? You know, and our human is fighting against that, going, I don't know. Oh, I don't want to go out there. Yeah, you're right. Oh my God, they're all going to hate me. Yeah, okay, yeah, let's not do that. So, like, we need to understand the underpinnings of these emotions. They aren't accidental. Our human doesn't just feel bad for no reason. This thing feel like we don't just feel bad for no reason. We don't just feel sad for no reason. There's somebody in there. There's a recording, a manager in there saying things that are causing that pain, causing that feeling. And so the way that we solve the problem is not by doing anything to our human. Our human's fine. We need to get rid of the bad guy. We need to get rid of that shitty
That,
adult,
that,
you know?
that influence. Yeah.
Yeah.
That
On that note, I
negative
gotta
influence.
go. I gotta go.
Yeah.
Um,
I appreciate you a lot. Thank you.